I'm a powerless person. I don't have a lot of power, very little influence.
Okay.
But when I do have any semblance of power and influence, I don't use it to make anybody feel uncomfortable, to harass them, particularly sexually. You know why? Because that's today's big deal. Bosses, managers, supervisors in the workplace. So you got yourself some power, huh? Well, I got some advice. And I can't believe we have to make a big deal about it again. But it keeps happening, so we gotta make a big deal about it. If you know what I'm talking about, this is for you. And maybe your friends, and the guy you never thought it would be about, it's for him too. Basically, the message is this: don't do it. I know, it's weird to even have to put it into words, but whatever you have in mind, if you wanna get personal, or even try to be funny in any way, don't do it. Even if it's a joke. It probably won't be taken as a joke, and then later you're gonna find out it wasn't a joke at all, but a horrible, horrible mistake. So just don't do it. That's my advice. If you think it's harmless, it isn't. It's really serious. So trust me, you don't wanna do it. And if you know it's probably bad, but you pretty much run stuff, so what's the worst that can happen? In that case, absolutely don't do it. Now, if you haven't done it yet, then good news. You won't do it, and everything will be fine. Maybe. So there you have it. People in power, just don't do it. And hopefully we don't have to keep making a big deal about this. And remember to follow us at The Zoo on LATV. All right, guys, so there you saw I did a little tutorial on don't do it. Like, basically, people in power, just don't do it.
I agree.
What do you guys think about this whole rash of powerful, pretty much men, powerful men going down for sexual harassment? Now the new thing is sexual misconduct, because that includes things that are just, like, inappropriate.
Like little side, off the side comments.
Well, let's let the woman have the first answer on this thing. What's your take on all this?
Well, I'm very happy that this is happening, because finally it's coming out, and finally I feel that a little bit more protected in some way, like, meaning, you know, it's not something that's going to keep happening so much or as much as it used to. So I don't think people can get away with it anymore. People in power, you know, trying to get away with things with us, but also people that want to get to some place, you know, to let themselves be used sexually.
That's the other side to it,
climb the ladder, so to speak.
I actually think that's a good consequence, too.
I think that's really good, because especially, like, in my own personal experience, that's something that I can say, I know never say never, but I don't think I would be able to compromise, you know, myself or my sexuality for, like, a job. And sometimes, since I kind of knew that this happened, and it happens in Mexico all the time,
I can imagine.
I was like, I'm never gonna get to the top, because if you're not willing to compromise your values or your person, you know, then you don't get far enough.
So
or
has
quick
this?
enough.
Do you have experiences of male producers, filmmakers, or something basically soliciting to you or implying that you'll get farther ahead or get the main role?
Not with me, and I've always said it. I've never been in that situation.
Do you think that you put out that energy though? Because I see that some of these men prey on women. Okay, and this happens to the gay community. They prey on someone they think they can get away with pushing.
I mean, you guys
or that's
know
somebody
me
that
by
looks
now.
that would be willing to give it up.
And
to climb to the top.
Yeah, exactly.
What does it
But
even look? I don't
like,
know, it's
you
so
guys know
raw.
me by now. Like, I'm not the kind of person that you think you can just like slide those things into. Like,
slide into your DMs.
Literally or not literally. Like, it doesn't. Yeah, like, I put limits, and when it comes to that, so I'm very happy that this is happening. At the same time, I do believe that there could be some people out there taking advantage of the situation that's happening right now in Hollywood, and like now saying things like, "Oh, I got sexually harassed," when you actually willingly had sex with someone.
Oh God.
No, and there's stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I know that does happen.
It's a gray area.
So,
nothing's black and white. There's always the gray area. But I do think that it's important that now that it's out there, there's no excuse on either side. Meaning, a person of power has to know that you can't get away with this kind of behavior. At the same time, I as a person who networks and stuff like that, I'm glad that maybe we're over the days when maybe someone can use their sexuality to get ahead in the line.
But something's happening, and just I'm gonna.
But I think that's still gonna keep on going on.
How can we have all these careers of actors and all these famous people being crashed because of this issue, and we still have a precedent that is clearly a harasser? Sorry, and I'm gonna say it out loud because it has happened, and that's okay. Like, where are these women that have been harassed by him?
Well, they've come out.
That have been grabbed by him.
Well, no. He said that he does. He said that he does it. Just to be clear about what he said.
And like, so all these actors, their careers are broken, right? And then what about our precedent? That's just my question to the audience, like out
I think the audience asked that question a lot too. I want to get the millennial perspective, Bruno. Not that you guys aren't millennial.
Yeah, Dennis, forever millennial. It's a tricky issue, you know. I'm not, I don't think, qualified to talk about it, but I will say that I have always respected women as equals and would never do anything to hurt women, mostly because I'm a sensitive person myself, and I identify strongly with women and what they go through. And although I can't experience what they do and vice versa, there's this, as long as you have empathy and you're a human being who actually is understanding of things that maybe haven't happened to you, then you can see how terrible and harmful something like this is, where a person of power takes advantage of someone who either is helpless and wants to, for whatever reason.
Or doesn't even know how to handle the situation, so they let it happen.
It doesn't matter the reason.
I will finish. I just want to finish with this one thing, because I think that we all know what's got to happen, and I think good things are happening. What I do want is some clarity. I think that the boundaries should be clear, and I think everyone involved, the people in power and also the people who are not in power, we should all be very clear about what our boundaries are, and we can avert this in the future. Dennis, last word on a very quick basis.
Like, it's almost like telephone. Everybody's interpretation of what the situation is very different, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay.
I can
Listen,
go on and on,
I got a feeling we're going to be talking about this for maybe a few more months. So we'll revisit this the next time that Matt Lauer or whoever else is going to be going down.
We should revisit.
It's like every day
this
there's
is a
somebody
good
new.
topic.